Eating chocolate. Well, I'm working. I'm the new chef. I started last week. Oh, wow, my shop. Hi, Randy Pischel here with the Valentine Goose channel. I've been very under the weather lately, very sick. I didn't get out of bed for 3 days again. I did get tested on Monday. It is not coronavirus. It is just a flu or cold or something. But I've been out of circulation. But with that, because I work nights, I tend to sleep all during the day, and then at night I wake up and I'm up all night. So I got sent an email, and I don't know if it was sent on purpose, but it kind of sent me down memory lane. And so there were some things I thought I'd share with you. And one of them was like back in 1979. My mom was a librarian. Well, she worked in a library. She wasn't actually the librarian there. But she brought home this book, and this book, I still got a copy. This book was called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and in it, there is a supercomputer that describes itself as the second greatest computer of all time. And the people that designed it were like, "No, you are the best computer of all time." He said, "No, I'm the second best." And so they started naming off computers, and one of the computers they named off was a Googleplex Star Thinker. I thought, wow, that's a cool name, Star Thinker. And I was playing D&D at the time. I named my character Star Thinker, and I became known as Star Thinker, and it carried on. One of the places I'm most known as Star Thinker is with the JREF organization. If you don't know what the JREF organization is, that's the James Randi Educational Foundation. And I'm very sad to report James Randi passed away just yesterday. So I was dealing with that. If you don't know, before this Forrest Fenn thing, I met all you guys. Probably 90% of everybody I knew worked for or came from or was associated with the JREF association. The JREF organization, James Randi played a big part in my life for several years. Just about everybody I know worked for him, did something for him, and these people were my friends, and through them, this is how I met people like Penn and Teller and the Mythbuster guys, and a lot of the great magicians. I also met my former roommate and now best friend, who I can't tell you her name, but I can say I heard you guys had a bona fide celebrity in your Zoom last night. But anyway, I was kind of sad to hear that, and I know things about James Randi that would blow you away because it's not public knowledge, and it's kind of wild to hear this. Truth be known, I thought he passed away a couple of years ago. So, but it did hit me because, like I said, 90% of the people I know, like I signed into Facebook, and my whole wall is nothing but tributes to James Randi. And it brought back a lot of memories. I was friends with Michael Stribe, who was known as Nobby Knobs. And we knew each other by our screen names, and all these people called me Star Thinker, and they called me Star, and some of these people, that's all I've ever heard them call me by, and I call them by their screen names. And Nobby passed away several years ago from Lou Gehrig's disease. So all these memories came back up. But I'm going to pull myself together. And so that was kind of hard to hear that. It's doubly hard when I'm trying to pull myself together health-wise and get back to work. I did get to work last night, and I was treated to a Zoom invite. And my friend, I sent her the book, and she's still recovering from COVID. and UPS won't deliver to her building because it's a secure building. So they deliver it to a store that's like a mile away, and she's got to go pick it up. And she hasn't done that yet, but she's like, "Oh, I want to check out this zoo." And I'm like, "Go ahead." I missed several days of work, like 4 days of work, and I've got to get caught up. And I kind of had it on, but I had so much work to do. But yeah, but this last week, like I said, I've been doing a lot of reminiscing. One thing we talked about back in Denver, there was a big art show and a big fancy art show. And I went there because I love art. And the first booth I went to had these blown glass, just works of art. And it was $190 for the one I wanted. I said, tell you what, I'm going to walk around the art fair, and if I don't buy anything, I'll come back here and I'll buy this. And there was a lot of good stuff at this art fair. And thing is, it was like geared towards homeowners. It was yard art and stuff like that, big sheets of welded metal and stuff. And I came back and I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this piece. And she's like, wow, there's a lot of people, because I'm the first booth, a lot of people come through here. So yeah, I'll be back and I'll buy something. Because you're the only person that's ever come back. And I'm like, I'm a man of my word, I guess. So what I purchased, and it was $190, was this blown glass. I don't even know what it is, but it's my favorite color. It's got some blue in it. I don't know if you guys can see the detail, but it's very 3D. It's very interdimensional looking, and it's just gorgeous. And I'm glad I bought it. And it wasn't long after that, the Denver Rock and Mineral Show was in town, and I got this museum quality. And I know this isn't going to do it justice, but this is it's a bloodstone, and you can actually see the veins. When I take this out into the sun, oh my God, this thing just like, it glows, and the veins, you can see the veins, and it's just, it is blood red in the sun, and it's just fantastic. But yeah, that was another very expensive buy, because that is a fantastic piece. And then sometimes I buy stuff just because, like, I collect these minerals, and a lot of the minerals are gray and red, and they're dark colors. And I saw this piece of tourmaline, and I just liked it. When you go to the Denver Rock and Mineral Show, you don't just see a piece of tourmaline like this. There'll be a table with like 100 pieces of tourmaline like this, and I'm going through them all, like, which one do I want? And this is the one I picked out. Just the vein patterns and stuff were just really beautiful. And then on the cheap side, rose quartz is very cheap, and I did purchase this nice piece of rose quartz. This, when I hike in Denver, and I think I've mentioned this before, but there's places where you literally can't walk without stepping on rose quartz, and there's chunks out there as big as my body. And that's what they do. You get a big chunk like that. It's not the crystalline perfect quartz, but it's a big chunk of rose quartz, and they polish it down into stuff like this, and they polish it into crystal balls and orbs and stuff, because it's that rough stuff. But when they polish it, that's when you get to see the crystalline structure. But yeah, I mean, I've got lots of pictures of me in this area, and it's funny because I was like, I got to get a picture of this big rose quartz field. And I stood up on this big boulder, and I was taking pictures, and I realized the boulder I was standing on was a big chunk of rose quartz, as big as my body. And excuse me. Yeah, still not quite over this. But yeah, that brought me down memory lane. When I first moved back to Mason City, I did move into a duplex. That was on the, Mason City has all these Frank Lloyd Wright buildings. There's a Frank Lloyd Wright hotel they recently restored. There's 2 or 3 Frank Lloyd Wright homes. It's a very Frank Lloyd Wright dense area. And the duplex I moved into was designed by a student of Frank Lloyd Wright, and they think he had a hand in it. And because it was a duplex, it was something a little bit different than what he normally does. Um, but it was a beautiful place to live. I mean, it was really gorgeous, and uh, but it was kind of run down. And the basement, I mean, it was built in like the 1920s. The basement, it had the coal room and the boiler room, and the room where you fix stuff, and it was really creepy because it was so old and run down. And it was a finished basement when it was built in 1920, so it had plaster and lath, but this is stuff that's been crumbling and no one's been fixing it. So there's like holes in the wall and big areas where you could see the wood underneath and stuff. And I did have a roommate for a while. She would go down there and take black and white pictures, and they were just the creepiest pictures ever. And I thought, this would be a good setting for an idea I had. And well, it was secret for a long time, but someone had to dig up my past. But yeah, I used to put pictures on the wall, pictures of people like Mandy Moore and Keira Knightley and Amy Adams and I forgot the other one. Amy Adams and Lindsay Lohan. And all those names have something in common, and they kind of divided things up for me. Apparently this got dug up, but I'm not going to say much about it. It was just an art project for me to test some of my codes and stuff. And I know I had a big whiteboard, and it was really hard to read because I had these goggles. These are very vintage, 19 turn of the century goggles. They're leather. Now, the straps, of course, are nylon, but these are original leather goggles, leather and steel. And when you wear these, it was really hard to read a whiteboard. But yeah, I did. I have to take my glasses off to put these on. But I got these at a steampunk fair, and it's just something. Oh, I can't even get the snaps to snap on my head anymore because I'm so sick. But yeah, just some fun things I bought. And like I said, I was going through some past stuff, and these things kind of came up to me. So that's how I got. Oh, and the other thing is, I talked about the JRIF and how everyone calls me Star Thinker. I did have a retail business in Illinois, right? Yeah, Illinois, and I did register Star Thinker, so it's a registered trademark. And there was a service when the internet was still brand new, and it was this email service, and I needed an email address, and I was like, within the first month, I was one of the very first customers of this email service. And this email service was called yahoo.com, and that's all they did was make emails. And my first password was 2 digits, and I still have that. I don't use it for anything, so if you email me there, I only use it for spam. If I have to sign up for something and give out my email, I use that address. But yeah, so starthinker.com or starthinker@yahoo.com is like the oldest address I have. And I did go through like a lot of the services, and I would register Starthinker just so no one else would get it. And so I'd like Starthinker at AOL, and Starthinker at MSN, Starthinker at Hotmail, and everything you think of. And all the forums. If you go to Hint of Riches, I still register as Starthinker, so no one takes it. But yeah, that's been a big part of my life. And like I said, 90% of my friends call me Starthinker in real life. Some of them, I don't even think they know my real name. But yeah, it was, like I said, I've already was going down memory lane. And like I said, I opened Facebook, and I was like, oh, I can't believe James Randi passed away. He was 92. Him and Forrest Fenn, I think they would have got along famously. I could just picture a conversation between these two old duffers, and you know, one guy who spent his life fighting fraud and everything, and one guy collecting art his whole life, and having adventures. I've seen pictures of James Randi hanging upside down from a helicopter flying over Tokyo, and you know, doing some of his stunts, and I think they would have got along great. Who knows, they might have met at some point. But yeah, that was really sad, and yeah, I just was just sharing some of these things going down memory lane. Oh, what else can I say? I actually remade this video a couple times. I remade it once, and I was going to post it last night, and my friend was like, "No, wait, don't post it tonight. You got to change a few things." I'm like, "Why?" And yeah, then she started to try and sell some things of mine, I guess, and she was like, "If you post tonight, they're gonna think something's up." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I made this video, you know, yesterday, and I was gonna post it last night at work, because I don't pay for internet there." And then I tried to remake it again, but I was coughing the whole way through, and it was horrible. So I remade it this one last time, and hopefully this was the one that will work. And but yeah, this wasn't for anyone in particular who was digging up things that lie dormant for the last 4 years. But yeah, I just thought I'd put a few things out there. Any other news? I have some news. I know there was some concern about a plaque in Denver on the God, I can't remember the name of the statue. Give me a moment, because I really want to get this right. I really do, if I can find it. There's a plaque in Denver, and I'm not sure why it would have got taken down. The Pioneer Memorial Fountain. Yeah, they did remove the plaque on that for whatever reason. And this is funny because I'm trying to design a new hunt, because I have such cool ideas for hiding a message, and I want to use them. And I was like, oh man, I wish I would have thought of these. I would have put them in the Beacon Star. So I don't know if it'll be a sequel to the Beacon Star, but I was looking all over for like what's permanent, and this plaque missing from the Pioneer Fountain just goes to show you that you think something's permanent, you think something's going to last 100 years, and it doesn't. And yeah, but this really doesn't affect anything, and that's all I'm going to say about it. So that's it, basically. I might follow this video up with a couple pictures that someone might recognize, and well, no, I guess I already named them, so I guess that's okay. But I did hunt down. I was like, there was pictures on my wall in the basement. I was going crazy trying to remember the names, because I had all this stuff in a folder. I had the answers to some riddles and stuff that I did, and I can't find it, and I really can't remember a lot of things from that. That was 4 years ago. I do remember some of the messages, but that's about it. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up before I hit 20 minutes again. And anything else? The plaque, it seemed like there's something else I had to pass along. But yeah, I feel a little nervous that, you know, some of my stuff might go up on eBay suddenly. Like, don't make money off me, I should be making money off you. You know, one word from my friend, and I bet you I could sell 5,000 copies overnight, but I promise I would never use it like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I did get my challenge coin in, but it's very light. Like, we got a challenge coin from work, and this is so heavy, and you know, it's from the Assa Abloy Americas division. It's got doors on the back, so it's a door company. And then when I got this one, it's like light. It's almost like it's made out of aluminum. And I'm like, I don't know what this is made out of, but it's so heavy. And then I got this one. I'm like, ugh, I like the heavy one. But yeah, that's another thing I was planning on doing. I was going to make pins But I like the idea of the coins better. But it seems like people collect the coins more than the pins. So that is something else I'm working on. I was going to put a code on one side and a cipher wheel on the other side, but make it all fancy and everything. With a, in the beacon star, there's a carving on the door of the tower with rays coming out of it and certain things on it. And I was going to put that on one side. With the cipher wheel and stuff. So it's just something I'm toying with. Anyway, I'll catch you all later, and you all have a good day. Stay healthy. Oh man, the brain drill. And I was with my granddaughter, and because they do it in the car as a drive-through, and I was supposed to get her tested too, but they did me, and she's like, because she's only 7, and she's like, no, I don't want that done to me. And she was starting to panic, and I said, don't worry, we'll get you tested at the other site, because they have kid-friendly tests at the other site. This site only did the brain drill, and I did not know that. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I would not do this to you. So apologies to my granddaughter. Anyway, you guys take care. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Have a good day.